Romney Stadium, second half, moments away from beginning. Ben Trude set to kick things off for Utah State, leading by 4 touchdowns. Trying to become bowl eligible for the second consecutive year. They haven't done that since 1960 and 1961. And a touchback here is Franklin unable to return. This Syscom Sports presentation of Utah State football is brought to you by Cache Valley Bank. We are Cache Valley's bank. Automatic car credit, where your car buying experience is automatic. Four Seasons Event Center and luxury apartment homes. Salt Lake Express, from your door to the Salt Lake City Airport 12 times a day. GNC, live well. And by Cache Valley Oxygen, serving Cache Valley for over 35 years. First play, second half by New Mexico State. Morrison pick up about 5 yards to the 30-yard line. So they have surpassed their running average, coming in just 85, 86 in that first half, but haven't been able to finish drives. And they've kind of been their own worst enemy. Brooks kind of talked to Coach Walker about, the penalty that nullified the touchdown, blocked field goal, and then the interception in the end zone.
I thought it was very interesting, Coach Anderson's comments coming out of the locker room. He said, I don't think we played very good defense. There's a 0 on the scoreboard, but I don't think we played that well.
Take it to Morrison. This one drops underneath. Sweet with the coverage. Yeah, and, able to give up, third downs, and New Mexico State able to run a little bit on them. But, boy, whenever you pitch a shutout, that's pretty good stuff.
I'll tell you where they have performed well, and that's against Austin Franklin. Franklin only 2 catches for 8 yards in the first half. He had 3 carries for 16 yards, but he's the big play guy. You do recall, though, that he had the big one in the first quarter for the touchdown on their opening possession, I believe, was it? And they had the penalty that called it back.
3rd and 5 for New Mexico State. Cutting underneath the route was Lawson, incomplete, and so Utah State able to hold on 3rd down. They should get the football back.
And one of the things that you like about Coach Gary Anderson and his staff is that they're never satisfied, and they compete on everything. Whether it's who showers the fastest or who runs the fastest, they're competing on everything they do, and they chart it. And they're creating this culture of accountability. And I'm sure that he addressed that in halftime. We pitched a shutout, but we're giving up way too much on defense. Wow, Chapman Brown with a laser shot.
Taking about the 18 by Cameron Webb. This is a good return. He's still going, getting wide. He's got Chapman Brown to beat. He does slow him down and takes him down. But Cameron Webb all the way to the 42-yard line. A terrific return by Cameron Webb.
I like to see that Snow College on Snow College there at the end. 2 transfers on either side. And I think Cameron may get the worst in the film room tomorrow, saying, how are you going to let that punter bring you down? But maybe out kicking the coverage here. You hear that all the time. And excellent blocking in the special teams game for that punt return unit. And then right here at the end, not a huge tackle on Webb, but enough by Chapman Brown to get him to the turf.
57-yard return. Here's Williams. At Utah State, they averaged 12 yards a carry in that first half. Kerwin Williams last week had 11 against San Jose State.
I asked Coach Matt Wells, the offensive coordinator, what he thought about Kerwin Williams getting maybe 20, 25 carries. And he said, I really liked 15 for 176 as he had last week. He said, I'll take that all day long.
Underneath to the tight end, Bartlett. Short pickup, but able to get something. Bartlett's been active.
New Mexico State still playing hard. The other thing that Utah State, I'm sure they addressed at halftime, they did better last week coming out of the locker room against San Jose State. But in previous games, came out flat a little bit to start the second half. Strong at the beginning, as you talked about, 82-3 in the first quarter alone. But it was really coming out of the locker room where they had struggled, especially on offense.
Only quarter where they're being outscored, and they're going to stop the clock.
Timeout.
Or stop the play.
New Mexico State. That's their first charge.
And New Mexico State going to call an early timeout here. Still 12:59 left. 28-0 Utah State ball. Facing a 3rd and 9 when you come back. Downs in that first half. He also had 2 carries for 78 yards and a touchdown. So he had a dynamite first half.
I'm guessing if you average 39 yards a carry, you might lead the nation. That's not bad.
It's not bad at all.
76-yard sprint to the end zone, as you recall, in the zone read. One of the things I liked best about that play was the Travis Reynolds block. The wide receivers getting into the run game.
But he'd love to pick up 9 yards here on this 3rd down. Jacobs in motion to the far side. Keaton plenty of time, steps up, fires for a first down. Jacobs at the 28.
Great protection by that offensive line. We wondered about Tyler Larson, the all-conference center for the Aggies, battling a little bit of a back issue, sort of stymied that defensive front, giving Chucky all the time he needed. Jacobs, who had gone in motion, dragging back across, getting the first down sticks. Chucky laid it in there nicely. Very accurate quarterback.
Jacobs in that first half had 2 catches for 66 yards and a touchdown. Williams on the run, but looks like this might come back. Penalty marker on Utah State.
You talk a little bit about Chucky. Comes in completing almost 68% of his passes. He's going to be close now to 2,000 yards on the season. Now with the 2 touchdown passes in the first half, he's got now 16 touchdowns through the air and only 4 interceptions. He's having a spectacular season for this Utah State offense.
1st and 20 now after the penalty. Caught again. Down the seam. This is Reynolds.
And you know what's exciting about Chucky Keaton is that he's just a sophomore and he's getting better and better. His presence in the pocket, his ability to throw the long ball, and his ability, like on that throw right there, to throw a laser beam on a slant route. Just getting better and better. He's continuing to bulk up his size. It hasn't hampered his speed at all.
Pressure coming. I'm just going to throw it away.
And this one may be...
Oh, he's down.
Boy.
Chucky Keaton is slow to get up.
Yeah, and they're going to call intentional grounding on this one. He wasn't outside the tackle box, and there was not a receiver anywhere in the area.
Reynolds might have been the closest, but he was in the center of the field.
Intentional grounding, number 16, offense. Loss of down, 3rd down.
And you hate to see him come up a little bit gimpy because, as you recall, your backup stud from a year ago, Adam Kennedy, out for the season. Craig Harrison is back up now. But Harrison not nearly the experience that Kennedy had, who led Utah State to that bowl game in the final 5 or 6 weeks of the season a year ago. Intentional grounding is a spot foul. So now Utah State 3rd and about 20. 2 penalties on this set of downs, really hurting the Aggie offense.
Need to get to the 18-yard line for a first down. Keaton has time. Going to tuck it and run. Slides down at the 35. Kind of curious if they were able to get more of that back, if they would try to go for it on a 4th down. Kind of in no man's land there, but well, they will bring out Diaz for a field goal attempt.
This surprises me. Diaz is the 3rd kicker that Utah State has used this season. Josh Thompson, Brock Warren, Nick Diaz, and as you may recall, Utah State really 2 kicks away possibly from a 7-0 record.
Benchwood with the hold. The kick is up, and it is good. So Nick Diaz, Utah State coming in just 4 for 7 on field goal attempts. And well documented, that's kind of been the weakness of the team. But Diaz connects on a 53-yarder. Can you believe that? Utah State leads 31-0. Back after this.
A 52-yard field goal You know, when Utah State head coach Gary Anderson took this job, one thing he wanted to do was get bigger, stronger, and faster. And something, if you look behind me, I don't know if you can quite see it, they're building a brand new strength and weight conditioning facility here at Utah State, a state-of-the-art facility that's going to be one of the top weight rooms in all the country. According to Gary Anderson, it's the nicest one that he's ever seen. So a lot of excitement around the university. Athletic Director Scott Barnes really went to work to raise some money to put in this new facility and help the Aggies get bigger, stronger, and faster, and it's going to benefit all sports. Guys, back upstairs to you.
Brooks, thank you. That is a game changer, the finest weight room he has ever seen. And the good thing is, it not just benefits football, as Brooks pointed out, it'll be all the athletic sports here at Utah State. And that's going to bring in all sorts of recruits. They love those type of things. They love the uniforms and the weight rooms and the facilities and the conference. How about the conference they're going to be in? So the Mountain West Conference. So a lot of good things to look forward to here for Utah State without question.
You know, it's as a former alum, you know, watching what's happening here, led by that man, Gary Anderson. Now, he has done just a fantastic, phenomenal job of rebuilding Aggie pride here in Cache Valley.
It's his recruiting philosophy, the in-state kids, the mission program, the Polynesians, and the walk-on. 15 walk-ons. And the two that received scholarships here before this season is Cameron Webb and Frankie Sutera. That's a big deal. It's, you know, very emotional. They make a big deal about it. They announce it in front of the team. And some guys kind of get misty-eyed a little bit. But, I mean, they have had some outstanding walk-ons as you have another look at New Mexico State on offense. The Wildcat. Trayshawn doing his thing.
Lawson kind of got held up there. You're right, Colwell. He's not going to throw it.
No, yet to throw a pass this season. Everything has been on the ground. And I don't think Manley's done a bad job at all. The interception obviously hurt in the end zone. This is going to be a first down for New Mexico State, but I think he's been able to move the ball down the field offensively. Franklin with another catch there, but it's just making mistakes, and that's a fine line between winning games and losing games. You look back at 5 or so plays, and that often will be the difference.
Franklin with only his 3rd catch of the ball game. Let's see if they run some sort of a play action for Colwell here as he comes back in the ball game. Most likely Wildcat run. Utah State's defense recognizing that now. Maybe the fly sweep here to Franklin.
Well, again, he's got a first down. It's in his best carry of the afternoon to the 35. Coming in, Trayvon had 5 carries for 26 yards in his previous 2 games that he's been able to get in. But another dimension to this New Mexico State team that's had a hard time running the football, but not today against Utah State.
That's got to give them over 100 yards rushing on the game, which was really one of their keys coming in. They had to run the football in order to set up the passing game from Manley to Franklin and Bateman. And they've done a nice job in between the 30s. But now, right here is where they start to get bogged down. Penalties, turnovers, inability to finish drives, and maybe that's why they're going to Colwell here.
Mexico State had 117 yards rushing so far up to this point. This close to a tackle for loss. Big Al comes in with the stop. Let's see where they spot him.
I think that is a TFL. Senior out of Salt Lake City.
He's coming off his best performance last week against San Jose State. Coming in with 3.5 tackle for losses, so he gets another one there, a couple of sacks. And his pass is incomplete.
I think he caught it. I think that was...
I thought they waved
Franklin.
It off.
No, I think he brought it in.
So Franklin with a marvelous catch on the far side. I don't know how he brought that in. I thought the official for sure was waving it off. A play of 29 yards to Austin Franklin, the sophomore receiver, on Nevin Lawson.
One-on-one with Lawson out there, and he did pull it in. And now he's into the end zone.
So Franklin back-to-back big plays. And New Mexico State first touchdown of the game. And no flags down, so it'll count. And that's a way to start the second half for New Mexico State.
I think certainly Coach Walker and his staff came out and said, hey, we've got one of the best players in the conference on our side, number 4. Let's get him the football. And we've seen 3 catches, including that one, into the end zone for Austin Franklin, his 8th touchdown reception of the season.
Extra point is good. So New Mexico State showing some fights. Good looking drive, 6 plays, 75 yards, 2.5 of clock. Franklin with the catch and touchdown. Texas with his 8th touchdown catch on the season. And kind of talk about scoring by quarters for Utah State coming into this game. They're plus 65 in the first, plus 9 in the second. 14 though in the third, as we have a look at the Salt Lake Express scoring drive for New Mexico State, capped off by Austin Franklin. But it's that third quarter where that's the only time they've been outscored. Bringing it out is Jacobs, past the 20, 25, lost the football, got it back, picked it up, and goes to about the 26-yard line.
You know, they work on ball security drills all week long, but Jacobs is one guy, and even Austin a week ago had a little bit of trouble hanging onto the football. We saw in the first quarter, Jacobs almost sort of muffed a catch over the middle. This one, he had it tucked away pretty good, a good hit from the New Mexico State defender. And fortunate for Jacobs, he was able to get back on it. But you're right, it's the third quarter, and now, to be fair, in some cases they've come out and they've had big leads. And, you know, they're trying to protect those leads and maybe run the football a little bit more. I suspect they're going to do a little bit more of this, an attack on offense here, and keep their edge.
Bartlett with the catch. Coming in with 22 for 178 and a touchdown.
Coaching staff gets a little defensive when you talk about sort of the lack of productivity and coming out flat out of the locker room. They, you know, the locker time, the halftime is where they make all their adjustments. So you're calling them into question.
Setting up the screen to Williams, has a first down, just slipped up.
Nixon doesn't get a hand on him there. He may still be running down the sideline.
Matthews also out there. Callender, the free safety. Here's Williams again, close to midfield.
So I think that's exactly what the offensive staff has said is, hey, let's not be complacent here. Let's come out and attack here on this drive. Let's pick up the pace a little bit, mix of run and pass. Start with the nice little gainer to Bartlett, then the screen to Williams, now the running game. And they're so diverse with so many weapons on offense.
Here's Williams again. Sports through, loses his helmet, so he'll have to go out for a play, but does pick up a Utah State first down as we're inside 7 minutes to play in the third. Utah State connecting on a 50-plus yard field goal. And New Mexico State came down and scored on a touchdown by Austin Franklin. Look at Kerwin Williams. 5'11", 185. Staff believes he'll get a chance at the NFL. Keaton goes deep. Knocked down at the goal line.
Great coverage. Is that Harris?
Nice play by Johnson.
Darian Johnson. Stride for stride with Jacobs. That was a good ball from Chucky Keaton. Taking a shot on 1st and 10. Play action. Step up. Johnson stride for stride with Jacobs and was able to knock it down. Good play by that cornerback there for New Mexico State.
Darian Johnson, a junior out of Fontana, California. In the secondary for New Mexico State. Sent 3 guys to the NFL under Coach Walker's tenure. Hill to about the 46-yard line. Zaris with the stop. Coming in, he led the team in tackles with 56, which is number 1 in the WAC. The split time with Dele Junaid.
Now Utah State again back in the 3rd and 9, just as they were in their previous possession. Mexico State able to do a little bit better job on 1st down.
5 of 8 on 3rd downs. This one batted down. Nice play by Alexander Lavoie, the senior out of Reno, Nevada. his third bat down. His equipment issues there. Chuck Jacobs, 3 catches, 80 yards, and a touchdown. Been productive.
But again, New Mexico State able to get a stop. Utah State's offense sort of bogging down again here in the third quarter.
So Bennett with the punts. Done a nice job. We don't talk about punters that often. He was a special teams player of the week in the WAC conference for what he did against Utah. Named to the College Football Performance Awards national list here. He was the punter of the week on the Ray Guy Award watch list. So he's done some nice things coming in, averaging 43 yards a kick, a long of 59, and has another one inside the 20. He had 20 coming into today's game. Doesn't get a lot of chances either.
No.
The Utah State offense scores a lot on their possessions, but Tyler Bennett's done a nice job as the punter for Utah State. Keep it on the ground. This is Morrison up to maybe the 10.
Nice play by Will Davis. Coming off the corner. Read the play. Came in, and we've seen him do that a couple of times now. One case even jumping on the back of the running back. He got his interception in the first half.
As he predicted. It was only a matter of time. A guy with that much skill. And they kind of attacked him a little bit. San Jose State did. And Mexico State has a little bit to this point, but boy, he's got all sorts of potential. Will Davis, I mean, he's a basketball guy too, coming out of high school. Done a nice job since January. He's came in and meant business. His ball deflected by Fackrell.
How about that instinct out of that young redshirt freshman? We talked about his ability to make plays. And this one, he's running to the flat, sees the ball coming, and reaches back with his arm to get the deflection. 6'5", 236 out of Mesa. You know, I played against his dad in high school. Does that mean I'm old to see a young man?
So you played for Logan. Did he play for Mountain Crest?
His father played at Mountain Crest High School. That's right.
So 3rd and 8 now for New Mexico State inside 5 minutes. Mexico State 4 of 11 on 3rd downs. They fake it to Morrison. Deep ball. Man out there and dropped. It was, I think, Franklin on the far side, and those are those self-inflicted wounds. That was a huge gain, an explosive play in the passing game. You got it at midfield. You extend the drive. Instead, you're punting the ball in field position. Cam Webb coming off a nice return the last time he touched the football at 57 yards. One more look at the drop by Franklin.
Under duress, Manley threw a beautiful ball. Said Jamani Robertson on coverage. Had him beat. Just needed to bring it in.
Short punt here. Cam Webb. Fair catch at the 47-yard line. And so terrific drive start here for Utah State, already leading by 24. How about the WAC standings? Texas San Antonio making the jump. Only a second-year program. Coach Coker's got the guys playing. 5-1 overall, but 1-0 in conference play. Utah State wanting to keep pace. Texas State, another former FCS program, making the jump to FBS. They're 1-0. Idaho at 1-1. They beat New Mexico State a couple of weeks ago. And, of course, Louisiana Tech, they were picked by the media and the coaches to win the WAC. Sets up a showdown coming up in a couple of weeks. November 17th, mark the calendar. That's when Utah State will travel to Ruston and take on La Tech. But you can't look ahead. You don't want to look ahead. San Antonio, as we talked about, playing well. Texas State playing well.
And that San Antonio game next up on the schedule. That'll be an interesting ball game going on the road to go down to that place to take on a league leader.
Caught. Here's Cameron Webb spinning his way for a first down to the 44-yard line. In the Alamo Dome, had good attendance. Now, don't get it twisted. They've had a weak schedule this year, but still, they put up some numbers against New Mexico State.
Their first loss is a week ago against Rice. And how about that wacky finish in the La Tech Texas A&M game last Saturday night?
Did you stay up for that one?
I did. I saw the last 10 minutes.
Johnny Football and La Tech had curious call on that two-point conversion is Kerwin Williams. Nice pickup on first down, but yeah, they were 2 points shy of tying the thing, forcing into overtime, but very dynamic offense, La Tech.
No question about it. Got a dynamic, as you say, quarterback. I believe that's Colby. I'm trying to remember his last name. I'll find it here. Colby Cameron, who's a returning starter. Put up 450 yards through the air a week ago against Texas A&M. 59-57 ball game.
Keaton has time now, running out of time. He's going to be dropped back at the 30-yard line. Savage came in with the sack. That's one of those guys that they really depend on. Speaking of New Mexico State, they felt like they haven't got the production from him, but he's their best overall defensive lineman. The senior out of Portland, Oregon, came in with 21 tackles and has another QB sack.
And that's one
his second.
That's one that you lose your wind on. It looked like it could be an injury-inducing kind of hit. Last week, Keaton only took 2 hits the entire game against San Jose State. That offensive line playing better and better, gelling as a group.
3rd and 6, and it's caught for a first down. Terrific play by Jacobs now with his 4th catch, showing you he's got great hands. Snags that one for a first down.
And you know what you like is you see Keaton take the big hit on the previous play, and this time standing in excellent protection by that front 5. And then throwing a strike and giving Jacobs a chance to come down with the football, keeping the drive alive.
Utah State with this quick tempo here on first down. Jacobs in motion. Keaton pressured, trying to outrun Savage. And now just going to throw it away. Stops the clock with 1:44 left in the 3rd.
What a luxury to have a guy that can move like that. He knows he can get out of bad plays with his feet, run away from pressure for the most part, and then just dump it out of bounds. Right there, you're out of the tackle box. Live to play another day. Smart play. He does not force many balls. Now, some of us would like him to force it a little bit more sometimes, but he just won't do it. He's disciplined. He makes very few mistakes.
Only 4 interceptions coming into this game. Here's Kerwin Williams. Tackled about the 10. Utah State with over 415 yards of total offense. Still 1:30 left in the 3rd. Chance to really add to that total, but hard to look at too many faults with this offense so far.
They've scored in big chunks. They've now sustained a couple of drives. And if they can get into the end zone here and win the 3rd quarter score, that will certainly help the coaching staff feel a little bit better about coming out of the locker room.
Keaton going to run it. Has a first down. Still going. Did he score a touchdown? What effort by Chucky Keaton, the quarterback. He just continued to turn those legs, and he's got another rushing touchdown. How about that?
That was a fantastic finish to that run. He knew he had the first down. Was hit right here. He's got the first down right there at the 5. Gets hit at the 5. Right there through Johnson's tackle. Johnson trying to rip at the football. Chucky kept the legs moving and broke it across the end zone into the end zone for the touchdown. What a run by Chucky Keaton. His 2nd rushing touchdown of the ball game.
8-play, 52-yard drive, 3:38 of clock, but the effort that time, as you mentioned, by Chucky Keaton, tremendous. Refusing to go down. Some nice blocks there on the edge, but that was an effort touchdown run by Keaton, without question.
Coaching staffs love that kind of effort, and that's why they compete. We talked about it earlier that Utah State competes and they chart their competition in practice, in games, and you can see Johnson sort of ripping at the football and Chucky just refusing to go down. Touchdown, Utah State. Excellent run by Chucky Keaton. Now, we may see now a few of the younger kids getting some action here in the 4th quarter. Build up the big lead.
Look what Coach Anderson, that kind of coaching resume. Nice things at the University of Utah, no question. I think he was like the runner-up defensive coordinator of the year or the coordinator coach of the year. and led the team to that Sugar Bowl win. I mean, that was his defense that came out and got after the Crimson Tide. Spent one season at Southern Utah back in 2003. Did some great things in Cedar City. They were sad to lose him back to Utah. He had 4 wins, which is more than Southern Utah had in the last couple of seasons combined. And obviously, Utah State fans have to be thrilled with what he's done with Utah State. Imagine this. Just go back just a couple of seasons. It's the 3rd week in October, and Utah State has a chance to be bowl eligible.
When does that ever happen? I
mean, that is remarkable. On the precipice here of becoming, bowl eligible for the, back-to-back seasons. That hasn't happened since Merlin Olsen, the great Merlin Olsen, played here back in 60 and 61. Have a look at the Salt Lake Express scoring drive. 8 plays, 52 yards. Keaton with a tremendous 9-yard rushing touchdown. Pass by Colwell, caught. Be a first down by New Mexico State.
Is that Colwell's first passing completion?
First pass.
First attempt?
Yeah, first attempt, first completion. Good for a first down. I think it was Matthews, the sophomore.
Nice play. Obviously, Utah State defense sort of setting up for the Wildcat run.
They've had success on offense. Culminated with a touchdown 2 possessions ago with Austin Franklin. Back comes the sophomore Manley. His pass is caught by Wolves. Nice pickup on first down. Some headhunting there by Utah State.
And Brian Sweet. And then what you love to see is the running to the football with his teammates. And you got 5 and 6 guys in on the tackle. That's noticed. That's charted. That's counted. And that's part of the culture that Gary Anderson has brought to Utah State. Is you're accountable for everything, and we're gonna measure your performance. And when you measure performance, good things happen because then you want to perform.
Colwell's back on a 2nd and short play. See what happens though is the 3rd quarter comes to an end. Utah State leading 38-7. The kicking game is working. Everything's going well for Utah State. 4th quarter when you come back.